Want to call to order Plan Commission Study Session, June 15th, 2022. Roll call, please, Jenna.
Robert Burleson.
Here.
Yolanda Cardona. Here. John Gill.
Here.
Joe Gomez-Tagle.
Here.
Bob Valois. Jason Vlasic.
Here.
John Kennedy. Attorney Adam Decker.
Here.
Engineer Ken Kraus.
Here.
Councilman Liaison Brian Blazak.
Present.
Town Manager Joe Wizawati.
Present.
Just want to give everyone a heads up, the petitioners in the audience, that we might change our schedule here. We might not go in order. There's a petitioner that has another meeting. He's late for a meeting, gonna be here, and then got another meeting, so. But let's start with item A, Planet Fitness, proposed 2-year performance surety for waiver of electrical service to comply with approved site plan at 10103 Earl Drive. Are they here?
Yes.
I'm Todd Riley, Riley Design and Consulting. I'm the civil engineer on the project. As you guys know, this is a change just for the electrical service. As we went through the process with NIPSCO, they have apparently have some supply chain issues with getting ground-mounted transformers. So this change is to still go underground, but we're at the power pole in the rear part of the building now. And there'll be pole-mounted transformers on them. We'll go back underground actually to feed into their service like that. That's what this change is all about.
Okay, so did you say it's a supply issue?
Supply, yeah, apparently, and I talked to Sergio about it. Apparently, I guess there's some other petitioners, I think other projects that are going on right now in the town as well,
Yeah.
or around, in various areas around here that they're having the same issues. So, and I know codes technically states for you guys, all utilities need to be underground, but in this case, we want to get open and be open like that, and apparently, I guess we're having some issues with that.
Okay. You have no issues with it, or?
Yeah, no, the only reason why we did this was Sergio wanted like a surety bond in place where if we go through the build with the poles in lieu of the ground-mounted transformer, once we give them the CO of the building, then now we have this to kind of stand on, where if they don't want to change it back, then we can get the surety bond and in place to ensure they change it back and they're not down the road once we give
When talking
CO.
with Sergio, before his next meeting, I guess, would be on the 6th, like full-blown planning mission would be on the 6th, correct? July 6th?
Yeah.
For this, like that, and I think what we're going to try to do is get the contractor on board to get those costs associated with that so we can actually put that performance surety in there.
Okay.
So you guys know what that is, and then we'll have that approved. You guys can approve that at the next meeting as well.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good to me. Any questions for anybody? Nope. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Next item on the list, Smythe DDC, proposed 2-year performance surety for waiver of electrical service to comply with approved site plan at 10815 Park Place. So it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, it's the exact same problem. They need the same pad-mounted ground transformer that they can't get, so they're gonna put the poles in place to get power to the building and let it progress as it should, and then flip it back to underground service when those parts become available.
Okay.
Mr. Vice President, Jeff Kilberg is actually on virtual here.
Okay.
And he has a presentation for you if you have any questions on it.
And he's with Barron Estates?
No, he's with Smythe.
No, he's with
Oh,
Smythe.
okay.
Yeah, he's with Apex Design.
I don't have any questions. Does anybody else? No? Okay.
All right, you got off easy, Jeff.
Oh, there it is.
Thank you.
Let's see, next item, item C, St. John Commons, proposed preliminary plat of St. John Commons at 10201 Calumet Avenue.
Yes, hello, Russ Posen, DVG Team Inc., 1155 Trotland Road, Crown Point, with the developer, owner, Brad Lambert, and the architect, if you have any questions. This property, you've seen it before as the PUD process. So obviously before you is the primary plat and the primary plat engineering that we've submitted. It's the same residential layout, the same commercial layout that you've seen. We've just taken it to the engineering design level. So I'm just here for any questions, concerns that you may have with what you see. As a point of note, sorry, we do have preliminary comments from Ken Kraus. We are already in the mix of addressing them. I will have some questions just for clarity with Ken that I'll work through him to get them done.
Okay. So is Ken here? Yeah, he's there. So did you get a chance to review it, Ken, or you said there were some questions Ken had?
Yeah, this is an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
Whenever we get plans, I talk with the design engineers and try to get some of, especially the clerical stuff, you know, things that are supposed to be on the plans that I don't see, like adjacent property owners aren't listed and they're supposed to be, you know, that's just an example. I don't think that's this case, but. So I will be talking to him on, well, we
Friday?
just made a Friday appointment to meet to go through some of these things that
Okay.
need to be addressed. But I don't have
No major stuff,
no
just,
major stuff on this one.
okay. Any questions from the board? No? Okay, see you in July.
you in
July
July.
what, 6th?
July 6th, is that correct? July 6th?
Okay.
Thank you. We'll be here.
You're fine. You're okay.
Moving along, item D, Streamside, proposed rezone to RC-2 PUD, single-family residential conservation plan unit development. Are they here?
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I looked through their Streamside little packet that they gave, and I just had a couple comments that I wanted to make, and too bad they're not here, but where's my comments? No, here's my comments. I didn't see any language in, with monotonous clause, especially with regards to the white trim, so I didn't see anything in there with regards to that. And, I don't know how everybody else feels, but, sidewalk along 109th, I know there's some wetlands there, but maybe we can work through that. That's all I had for Streamside. Anybody else had any questions for it, or any concerns, or?
Bob, did you notice or did you comment about the non-monotony clause?
I did on the last,
Oh,
yes.
the last time you mentioned it, but I'm
Yeah.
wondering if you saw it going through here.
I did not see it in their submittal packet. In this, I did not see it in there.
Oh, I was gonna say.
There is one on the last page, Bob.
Is there?
It's kind of basic. It just says, house on lot
Oh.
4 can't be the same as 3, 11, and 5, which is kind of standard for the anti-monotony language.
Okay, I missed that.
Just so it's covered, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for pointing that out to me.
Yeah, but I
Joe.
think something more that we can kind of build on is in their presentation, they give all the different elevations. And it seems like when they do go and they sell, they do follow the anti-monotony clause, but they don't really build all the elevations. So it's like, when you look through the brochure that he's presenting, you have 12 or 14 completely different looking houses, but it ends up being the same 3 or 4.
Right,
And it seems like everybody, I can imagine, you know, you wouldn't want to spend money on a four-sided hip roof when everybody just gets the gable end that's standard, you know, so it's, I don't know if they could build something in there where they have to build, you know, 4 of these, 4 of those, you know, and that way, because that's kind of, everybody always says about Walden Clearing looking the same. Well, the Walden Clearing presentation had, you know, all these different elevations, but nobody chose
those,
to,
nobody
nobody chose them. They all just went with the standard, okay, then.
Yeah,
2-car garage, 3-car garage, you know, and so they left, you know, a couple of the elevations that showed were unbuilt in there, so.
my biggest concern is just the white trim. Just, you look at the whole subdivision and all you see is the
All
white
the same.
trim. That's kind of my beef is,
That was the point I was trying to make the last
Yeah.
visit, was, you know, you guys gotta cut that out.
yeah. To me, alls I see is white trim, so,
It's rather obvious.
yeah. And I didn't write it on my notes here, but having walls, blank walls with no windows, I think they need to stop that. You know, add windows. I don't, you know, are they bedroom windows where they don't have windows? That seems strange. That's not really typical for a builder,
Plus, it looks
to not have windows all the way around.
strange.
Yeah,
When you're looking at it driving by, it's like, what the heck?
yeah.
You did mention that at the.
I did mention
Yeah,
that.
you mentioned that as well.
Can they provide anything like for details like that for us? Or is it?
Yeah, they do,
request-
yeah,
Yeah,
they'll
they can put it in.
they'll
their
put it in the,
Then would,
HOA.
would we say that if, once they provide it to us, then they can come back, not in the July meeting, but
yeah, you would work with them to get the PUD in line with what
yeah, by,
What they agreed
the
to.
requirements we
Right.
require.
be a good conversation.
So that's,
Hello? Not mine.
that's what I have. I don't know if anybody else.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement
Yeah.
that I think those would be good changes that would help
Understand.
the homes maintain value and kind of stay in line with some of the higher end things we're trying to get accomplished with the PUDs we've been doing.
And the variety,
Mm-hmm.
both color and trim.
All right. No other questions. We'll move on to, we're going to skip E because he's not here.
Mr. Vice President, I actually just received an email from Doug Homeyer. He's stuck at Lake County at the BZA, so he's not going to be able to make the meeting at all tonight.
Okay.
He did request that he still be put on the July 6th agenda for final plat approval, since we already received the preliminary June 1st.
Okay. Next item, item F, Cannon's Addition, proposed preliminary plat for a two-lot subdivision at 8167 Wicker Avenue, east side of 41.
Good evening. I'm Glenn Croct with Glenn Croct Associates, representing the Cannon family who's sitting here tonight. This is kind of an unusual situation. The family has owned this property for years, and when it was annexed in, I believe it was zoned to the commercial zoning because they have the buildings up front. But in the subsequently now, the family would, the grandson would like to build a home in the back section there so that he's on the property and be there to help take care of grandma and kind of take care of the property. So basically, we're requesting that the east 500 acres be rezoned to residential
500 feet.
for 500 feet, and the remaining in front be left the commercial zone. And I've provided a ingress egress easement. I don't know whether you have the latest drawing up there. I can give you some reduced copies to show a little more detail too, as that's going on. There you go.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So basically, what I've done is provided a 30 to 40 foot wide ingress egress utility easement with a paved driveway that goes from Route 41 all the way into Lot 2. And Ken and I have been discussing the utility situation, and we kind of came up with a solution that we could run our own individual water service line from Lot 2 through that easement all the way out to the water main at 41. And we could also run a 6-inch service line from Lot 2 with the required cleanouts, as Ken suggested, all the way out to the sewer that's out Route 41. And so that way, Lot 2 will have the service it requires for sewer and water. And there's already electric and phone on Lot 1 that we can extend service or work out with NIPSCO, whatever we need to do. So basically, I guess in the end, we'll be requesting a rezone and then also approval of the primary plat. So if you have any questions, be happy to answer them.
Ken, do you think a 1-inch water service that's 500 feet long will still have adequate pressure in the home?
Yeah, in my neck of the woods, they're called long straws, and they work fine.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that. The problems that I foresee on this isn't town utilities. It's gas, electric, telephone, cable TV. You know, like Glenn was saying, you know, wherever they can make their connection for Lot 2 to those utilities may not be right down the middle of,
Right.
of this. So I'm thinking by the time we get to final plat, we may have an extra easement on here along the north or the south property lines, just to allow for, you know, gas and electric and those other utilities to be able to find their way to Lot 2. But if they can get them to go down the middle, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
That's good with me.
Right.
Where would be the fire hydrants?
There's a fire hydrant right out in, actually, there's 2 fire hydrants. One at the south end of the, you can't really see them very well in this, but at the top left corner there, if you see where it says sanitary manhole out
Yeah.
on the street, there's a
Yes.
fire hydrant right there. And just at the south end of the property, at the edge there where it says existing water main, there's a fire hydrant right there. So there's actually 2 fire hydrants.
But to get
On
to
the
that
property.
lot, it's gonna be pretty lengthy for the fire department to get through in there in case of emergency.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's an issue there, I would think. Because there's,
Would they pull their truck onto Lot 1, the fire truck? I don't know.
depending on how they're gonna do
You know,
the
pull on-
safety, yeah, you have to talk about the safetiness of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Pull on,
Yeah, they'd probably just go up the driveway if need be, and then,
But then you have to have other types of trucks in there.
right.
And
I
there's
mean,
only one 40-foot easement.
I mean, you got 2 fire hydrants there, and they're within 500 feet of where the proposed home would be, so I mean, I don't think the distance is really
an issue,
that much of an issue.
yeah. You gotta come up to the mic.
Absolutely. Besides the hydrants that are in the front of the property on Wicker, there's also the hydrants on the Meyer side. And then as far as trucks, we discussed possibly, if necessary, I mean, we allow Northwoods to park in the property, so hypothetically, trucks on the grass isn't an issue. But we also are fine with like a circle drive. We talked about that with,
Yeah. It's for your safety, for the safety of
Of course,
the
of
house.
course,
And
yeah.
the fire department will make it, but
Sure.
the point is that
yeah, the hydrants on Golden Pond, I believe there's 2 on what would be our right side of our property. There's hydrants on Golden Pond as well as the 2 that are on Wicker. And then as like I said,
I installed one on our property. It's in the,
yeah, that's that one that's up top there.
right,
Yeah.
In 2010 it was installed.
Do you have access, though, to Myers Addition? I'm not familiar, where the hydrants are, and, do you have to go across does the fireman have to go across private property to run the hose, and,
I'm not- I wouldn't-
that might be an issue?
that would be an
Using Myers, you
Sure.
I'm not a fireman, but they, probably would frown if it's wintertime, 2 feet of snow.
Sure.
Firemen to trudge through someone's yard to
Sure.
get to the hydrant, pulling a hose, they'd probably go out on 41 and
Sure.
pull it.
But yeah, as far as the access, we're fine with a circle drive if that's what need be to allow them down there. Right now, the trucks, when we have had the fire department come, it is they just kind of back up and back in to where we're at now. into our driveway. Thank you.
John mentioned, Ken, to 1-inch service having pressure. Would it be volume 2 with that length? Would not be a problem for that 1-inch service?
Problem.
Okay.
No, it's coming off of a 12-inch main.
Okay.
It should be fine.
I guess there was another thing brought up about having additional homes. Probably have to have some language in there that there would be only one house built on this.
Well, if it gets rezoned to a residential, like a R1 or R2, those laws that,
Your zoning ordinance
For those
restricts
two-
it to one
Yeah,
residence.
you can only have one dwelling on lot 2, so.
Okay.
So the only thing you would have to worry about is if somebody came in and wanted to re-subdivide Lot 1 into multiple lots, and then you folks are in the driver's seat because you can say, yeah, no.
Okay.
Or you can say, sure.
now to rezone Lot 2 to a residential zone is a whole separate process.
Right.
From this, so you're talking about pretty much a 3-step process. You got the rezone,
Right.
primary plat, secondary plat.
Right. Well, we kind of wanted to get all these issues out, make sure that everybody's on board before we go to that step.
And in those 3 steps, there's a certain amount period given for their benefit,
Well,
how long would it take?
They can do some of these things simultaneously,
Okay,
but when it comes down to the timeline between primary plat and secondary plat, it's customary to have the 30-day wait. You can approve it, but can't sign it. That's
Right.
what I think, John.
you're looking at 2 months,
Yeah.
2 to 3 months.
Mr. Chairman, I would also add that a rezoning is a recommendation made by the Plan Commission, but that's ultimately approved by the town council.
Right.
Right.
And at the last meeting, we talked about the ingress, egress, utility easement. There has to be some sort of maintenance agreement between the owners of Lot 1 and the owners of Lot 2 on who's going to take care of it
Right.
30 years from now,
Right.
50 years from now.
Yeah.
If it needs to be repaved, it looks like there's 3 entities. You got the old commercial one on the north and the residential on the south of Lot 1, and the new house
Right.
going in a Lot 2.
And we're agreeable with that. I mean,
Well,
that makes perfect sense.
And I think I mentioned that, correct me if I'm wrong, but you'd have to have that recorded, right, at the county? That language?
Well, I'll
Or-
see to Adam's opinion on that.
It
but I
could
think
be,
there should
it could
some-
be cited on the plat itself, right? So that it's recorded on the final plat? Or would you want it,
Reference to a document number?
or would you want it referenced back to a separate recorded document?
Well, I'd have to give that some consideration. I mean, I guess it depends on what specifically is provided. But if it's recorded, if it's part of the plat and it's recorded, then that's of record.
Yeah. Because we could put that language right on the final plat.
Yeah, I think that has to be it. Now,
Yeah, right now
grandson
Right, yeah.
and grandmother, they have an
Yeah.
agreement, but it should be
Oh,
something
absolutely.
recorded.
Sure.
That goes with the property, not.
Goes with the property, not with the people, correct?
Right, exactly.
So the first step is to get Lot 2 rezoned.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
I think it would be helpful if they knew how many days it takes, all those things, so that if we're already looking at 4 months. Now, I'm not trying to say what you should do or not
Yeah, yeah.
do, but it helps you a little bit, giving you a heads up as to 4 or 5 months down the road, this is where we should be at, if you have a Gantt chart. So it will help you. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
be pain, I'm just trying to
Right.
make sure that we kind of give you a little bit of a
Well,
tools there.
we'll be in contact with Sergio and make application for the rezone, because I suspect that would have to be a public meeting advertised, right?
Yep,
Yes.
yes.
So will primary plat, would be
Right.
2 public hearings.
And would it be possible to have those at the same meeting, or is that 2 separate meetings?
Well, the meeting here for the zoning the commissioners will give a recommendation to the town council.
Right,
so
and that's a separate meeting.
that'd be-
Yeah,
Yeah, I think they need to be separate,
okay.
because the primary plat, you do it on the same day, you haven't got the zone changed yet.
Right. Okay,
It'd be a month apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right, okay. Well, that's why we're here, to get direction.
And then another month from primary to secondary, correct?
Well, you can approve it on the same night as the primary, but you can't sign.
Okay.
30 days.
30. Good. Okay.
All right. Any other questions, concerns? Ken, you good?
I'll be talking to Glenn
Okay.
about other stuff, but yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Right, good.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time. and
Yep,
your-
thank you.
And your input, and we'll be back, I'm sure.
All right.
Glenn, if you have any questions, feel free to call.
Item G, Gates Park Unit 11, proposed preliminary and request for final replat of the Gates of St. John Unit 11C and 12B for a two-lot subdivision at 10201 Park Place.
So this was before the commission, before we pulled it, and we wanted to have a discussion on what's going on, so that way you have a fuller understanding of what we're doing here. This is a two-lot subdivision that's being proposed. This is the Gates Park, if everyone's familiar with it. It runs from Park Place all the way to Klein Avenue. So what was discussed is that this be essentially subdivided into two lots, so that way, for emergency purposes, there's two separate addresses identifying the proposed, well, the under construction skate park and the playground, which would be on the west side over on Park Place. So that's basically what we're requesting that we get done. I believe we would also have to have a public hearing on that, so that would be to come, but we wanted to make sure that if you folks had any questions or needed anything answered, we could do that.
Then what's the purpose of the two different lots?
It's to basically allow that. We have two addresses for emergency purposes.
Okay.
So if there's an ambulance called right now, they're dispatched to one of the addresses and not, you know, if it's skate park, they wouldn't go to skate park. They
Right.
may end up going to Park
Gotcha,
Place. So
gotcha. Yeah,
we just want to make sure that the addresses are differentiated. And that way, it's just easier to find on a map and stuff like that too, so.
Okay. And less travel,
Yes.
Or expedient.
more expedient.
I know this has been a topic of conversation for other subdivisions in the town. Lot 2 does not have curbs or sidewalk in front of it on Klein Avenue. You're good on West 102nd and on Park Place. You got curbs and sidewalks on both of those streets.
These lots owned by the town?
They are, yes.
They are, okay. So, I guess should we make the town put in curb sidewalk?
Sure.
Is that an example?
It only seems fair, right?
I was just filling the water here, I wasn't sure.
Keep chuckling, Bob.
Okay, I don't have any questions. Anybody have any questions?
Oh, it makes sense to me, yeah.
No? Makes sense? Okay. Do I have a motion to